90,000 of your fellow fans screaming, shouting, atmosphere, couch, beer, HDTV. I mean, this is the argument right here. Jason Rubin, Pablo Alsina, Britton Harden, and Francis Maxwell. Is it better to watch games live, or is it better to watch in the comfort of your own home? So there's many factors that will come into this that we're all going to touch on. Pricing. Tickets just seem to be going up day by day. I mean, none other than the Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao fight that seems to cost an arm, a leg, and another few people's arm and legs to get into the fight. It's ridiculous, but you can maybe watch it in the comfort of your own home, but it's going to cost as much as well to do that. So, I mean, we'll throw to you first, Britton. What do you think? What comes into it? Is it a live event for you, or is it sitting at home watching it HD?
For me, I think it's a live event. You know, it's just something about being in that atmosphere, being with your fellow, fan. Like, we'll just say boxing, because I'm a, huge boxing aficionado. If I were able to go to the Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight, there is no party, there is no casino, there's no setting that I could be in better than being in that atmosphere, witnessing history. You know, there's certain experiences that technology just won't give you. You know? And what the comparison that I'll make is, they have this new technology now with these 3D helmets, with the women and guys are able to watch porn and it's like 3D.
Wait, this just took a weird
It's not the same thing.
Sports or porn?
They're the same thing.
Because one's better in person than watching it on TV.
Only on TYT.
That's why I got to change it up.
Only on TYT Sports.
TYT Sports can we go from this
Can
to
we
3D
go from this?
porn?
It's a perfect segue though. Like, it's nothing like the real thing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my point.
So, Pablo, and this is a point I wanted to bring up, because we can talk about live events and TV, but one other category that has to sneak its way in is a combination of both, because there's these live TV screening parties, right, where they have the huge TVs, like in the World Cup, tens of thousands of fans join around to watch it. Very similar to being actually at the event, but not quite there. Do you think that kind of gives a middle ground between both?
Well, I think soccer or football, there's a difference. In soccer, the game at the stadium, especially if you go to games in Argentina, in England, in Spain, when everybody's up and dancing and jumping up and down nonstop for the 90 minutes of the game, you can't beat that. You can't recreate that. Other sports like American football, where there's TV timeouts, everybody's sitting most of the time anyway. I got to pay $12 for a warm beer? No, I'd rather watch it at home. And I actually used to call fights for the UFC. I was ringside. I mean, octagon side. You couldn't get any closer. And I would still have to look at the monitor sometimes, because you can't have a good angle of what's going on. And I had the best seat in the house. So at home, you have the camera angles. You have the slow motion replays. Hey, at home is a lot better for lots of sports. But for football, for that passion, to feel it, to live it, you have to be at the stadium.
That's a good point. Very good point. It depends on the sport. It's not as much about the event. So, Jason, for you, what is a sport that you think you could watch at home comfortably? I know, please, I'm leaning towards baseball. Come on. You can just sit there and watch it at home. It's fine. Or is there a sport that you need to be there and nothing compares?
I actually believe nowadays you need to be at home to watch baseball.
Yeah.
Because with all the advanced analytics and pitch trackers, and if you're a baseball fan and you really are an enthusiast like I am, like our fellow co-host Ben Mankiewicz is, as Pablo Alsina is, you can really track what's going on with a keen eye. Now, playoff atmosphere versus regular season atmosphere, I would really take my couch in any regular season game, match, fight. Well, fights don't have regular seasons, but in general, I would take my couch. I would take my cold beer in my fridge, which doesn't cost $12. But fortunately, but when it comes to the playoffs, I want to say that even if you're sitting in the worst seat at the Super Bowl, at Mayweather-Pacquiao, at the Champions League final, and you're watching Ants play because you're so far, you can't beat that atmosphere. There's memories, you tell those to people. I mean, for me, my greatest playoff experience, 2006 NLCS, Andy Chavez for the Mets goes up, makes an amazing catch. I literally couldn't see him make the catch. It was so far away. But when you hear the cheer of the crowd, everybody's there, you get so amped up. It's such a wonderful experience. So I take my couch for the regular season playoffs.
So I'm about to throw a curveball at you, right, to give a baseball thing. Because I think I agree with you if it's an individual sport, but if you are a fan of a team in the UK, if I was to choose to sit at home all season and then suddenly the big games come out and go, I'm a bandwagoner. I'm a part-time fan. I'm now just a guy that wants to go for the headlights. So do you think that comes into it? Because if you're a diehard fan, especially like my team Celtic, if you sit and watch their general games at home and then suddenly they get a big game, Champions League against AC Milan, you're like, oh, I'm there. I'm going to join in everyone. People are like, you're the bandwagoner.
When your teams suck like mine and I'm sitting in a throwback Patrick Ewing jersey on my couch watching 20-minute rewinds of the game.
Jeff Van Gundy grabbing Alonso Mourning's leg? If you could see that in person, that'd be memorable.
But, well, Malice at the Palace, if you were there for that in person, you'll never forget that kind of moment either.
All right, so I mean, to round it up, we're going to come back to everything that everyone's talking about. Mayweather and Pacquiao. So this is the final point, because it comes down to pricing as well. Because how much are the tickets going for at the moment? I think they sold out very soon. It's
2,500.
Someone told me the other day that the celebrities are going to be in the nosebleeds. I think that was Il who came on and talked about boxing, because it's going to be that. So for you, Britain, do you think it's a little bit overpriced that people at home now are going to have to pay above the hundreds to try and watch it?
I think that people who have the money are the same people who had the money to go to fights before, and they're gonna go. And I think the people who are gonna buy the pay-per-view are the same people who are gonna buy it, and the people who are going to find a party, a house party or a bar to watch it at are the same people who are gonna do so. I don't think anything in the culture of these pricing, even though it's outrageous, I don't think it's going to change the people who are going to participate.
So I think the general consensus is that it's not as much the difference between live events and being at home. It's the event, and it's everything that comes around with it. It's a sport, because I know for a fact that I would definitely rather be at a soccer game no matter what. The difference is, and Pablo hits it as well, is that I did go to some MLS games here. The MLS is intriguing somehow, but the atmosphere just isn't the same for me.
And they play in the summer in July in Kansas City at 1 p.m. It's like 100 degrees. I'm watching the games at home. Then they wonder why in the MLS sometimes they're walking or not going fast. It's 100 degrees. Don't play games at 1 p.m. in the summer. That's why nobody does it.
They're not training for Qatar 2020?
Yeah, well, they're training for Qatar. They might be training for that.
But the good thing about HD is it makes people that can't get tickets to games really enjoy them even more at home. I mean, you can see people. I remember when they switched to HD, my friend would call me like, "Oh my God, you see the girl in the back row?" You can see the people in the stands like perfectly. So I think that's what makes it a lot better.
The people in the World Cup definitely love the HD, especially with that unique cameraman that spends 40% on the game and 60% on the girls in the crowd.
But he only finds like the blonde, blue-eyed one of every country. It didn't matter what country. There's the one blonde one. She's cheering for them.
All right, well that's good to finish on. Let's just hope that they stick to HD, because when they go to 4K, that's when things just get a little too artificial for me, and you can see everything. So let's just stick to that. We want to know what you guys think. What do you prefer, live events or watching at home in the comfort of your own couch and a bud and potato chips, or for me back home, that's crisps? Make sure to leave your comments in the section below and subscribe to TYT Sports.